we got the call to South Africa, accepted. We were supposed to go out there for 3 months to fill in while they looked for a pastor permanently. And this is when things started to change. So I was preparing my sermon, and it was the Saturday before the first time I would preach, and I was in my office preparing. And back then, I would practice every single sermon. And as I was preaching in my office to myself, Sarah, my wife, she walked past and she listened to me, and she was amazed. I spoke fluently, every single word perfectly, did not stammer once. And she recorded me, and she put her phone outside of the office. And after I finished preaching, I went out, and she said to me, "Listen." And so I did. And sadly for her, I just wasn't shocked at all. I said, "Yeah, that's right. I know I can. I know I can. Like, for the last 5 years or so, I know that I'm able to speak and to preach. But then when I'm actually up there, it just doesn't happen." And she said to me, "If you can preach in there like that, then you can preach out there just like that as well." And that changed something in me. She started to encourage me to believe that I could, and believe that if God had called me to this, then I would. And so I went on a journey on that Saturday night, I guess. I went on a journey in my own mind, in my own heart. We're no longer having to pray prayers focused on the anxiety and the doubts and the questions in my own heart, but praying prayers where I was preaching to myself, in a sense, and confirming that the Lord had chosen me for this and prepared me for this. And so I went up and I preached on Sunday morning, and it went extremely well. And there was just such a sense of assurance in me and such a sense of belief in me. And that was nearly 7 years ago. And then it's just been a journey of growth in belief, arguably, and I think a lot of people will think that I've put most of my work into learning how to speak, and that just isn't true. It's been learning to believe, to believe in who He is, to believe in who He has made me to be, and who I am in Him. And so yeah, so it's just been a real journey in that to get to the point of where I am now. And even now, Mike, and so you heard me preach, but what you don't hear is the bits beforehand where I'm having to speak and preach to myself and pray. And that's probably one of the biggest changes is my prayers. My prayers have changed from being obsessed with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And I'm sure that all of us have been through that, where before every sermon, most of our prayers are just about us.
Yeah.
Right. Like how we preach, how we are seen, how we are heard, how we feel. And even when we're praying for others, we want them to be helped and transformed, because that makes us look good and feel good in some sense. And my prayers have changed. I just realized I was so filled with pride, even in my vulnerability and brokenness. I was just so prideful because it was just all about me. And so my prayers had to change and become all about them, the people that I preach to, and all about Him. And I'm just a tool and a means to an end. And if I speak well or not, as long as He is praised and as long as He is shone brightly, then I should be happy.